Hi, everybody. Salma Manzer with 12 Rivers Realty here with Sonny Barra.
With the bar team at Keller Williams.
That's right. And we are discussing investments. And we have, if you've been following along, we have talked about how we've met. We're both in real estate. We've talked about how we both have investments and why. And kind of like the reasons why we decided to do investments and the life that it's kind of like giving us and the choices and the things. But as shocking as this might sound, not everybody feels comfortable investing.
Knowing it's the best way to grow your money.
Well, not knowing. Some people don't know. But once they're learning through this podcast that it really is the best vessel to grow your wealth, grow your retirement, have a chance of a good life in this world, not to be dreary. But still not everybody does it. And people don't do it because they find it impossible. I mean, and rightfully so. If you don't know, you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. That's why we're here. We're here to educate. We're here to explain. We're here to tell you that if I can do it, you can do it.
If I can do it, you can do it.
That's right. So why? We told you reasons to do this: for freedom, for mailbox money, for retirement, for generational wealth.
Partying in Ibiza.
We're not building any more land. All the reasons. But now we're going to talk about the reasons people don't invest. And also, we're not here to tell you lies. There are moments in our investing where we have struggled, where it's been hard. And we're going to speak to that a little bit. But why? Why do some people find it impossible to think that they can't even buy their first investment, Sonny? What are some of the things that you hear out there?
It's just too stressful. Really, I mean, the number one is going to be it's too stressful. It's going to be too much work. They're worried about the house cutting its value in half, like overnight. So typically, they're worried about the housing market crashing, and they're worried about how much trouble it's going to be.
Okay, which is interesting things that you say that, because I know that 50% of those people that are middle-aged, middle-income, middle to high income, let's just make it easy. People who are making money and they have the money and they think that the real estate market is too scary, but then they put it in the stock market, which the stock market we know is also volatile. In fact, we could guess that the stock market does this. Mainly goes up, it has its downs, whereas the real estate market is just not that volatile. We have had volatile periods, but the real estate market kind of goes...
Correct.
You know what I mean? So people worry about the risk, but the truth is, real estate is one of the least riskiest things long-term in a lifetime that you can do. Not only in a lifetime, in a multiple lifetime that you can do. It is fairly risk.
If you can make it to 10 years,
diverse.
I look at every real estate investment as a 10-year investment, right? So if you compare real estate tenure as a 10-year investment to any other 10-year investment, it's really hard to beat. I actually don't even know another investment that, if you're leveraging money over a 10-year period, I can't think of another investment that would beat it.
Okay, but again, we've already established that real estate and investing is a good thing short term, good thing long term. We're talking about the pitfalls. What are people afraid of, okay?
Why would they be afraid of it? I'm still trying to figure that out myself.
Let's talk about our personal experiences, okay?
So talk about your personal experience, because I haven't had a pitfall in my real estate yet, other than having to carry $3,000 a month mortgage, but it's already made me hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Correct.
So let's talk about the pitfall in yours. I mean, specifically your St. Edward.
Right, we can start with St. Edward. St. Edward's is a duplex that I bought at the height, not at the height of the market, when the market was not at the lowest point yet. The market had started on the decline, and so we thought, well, I'm getting a deal because the market was on a decline. It turns out it went a little bit further past that. On top of that, it was a distressed property that I put money into it to improve it.
And by the way, I thought when I saw that property, I believed that property was going to be your most profitable investment. When I first walked up to it, I was like, how did you get this at such a good price? I was blown away. And I thought that was going to be your most profitable investment.
And it still may be.
That's right.
It absolutely still may be. I mean,
10 years from the time you bought it, I promise it will be.
I bought that in 2024. Or 2023? 2023. I bought it, and I had to put money into it, and I'm still putting money into it because I know that it's a long haul, period. Like, this is not a flip. This is not a quick investment. This is a duplex. with 2 doors in 78704. I know the money's there. It's just a matter of time. What I'm trying to say is that, like, I bought that in the most positive way, thinking I was getting a deal, thinking I was going to put X amount of money into it. It turns out it was a huge, great learning curve. I learned so much. I spent a little bit over than twice as much as I thought I was. And then the market turned more and it went lower. And I rented the property. And it cost me more a month than I thought it was going to cost me. And I had to lower my monthly cost. I thought I was going to have to sell something. I thought, why am I suffering? I'm in a bad mood all the time. It has an effect on how I am out in the world and my business is outwardly facing. Why don't I just sell something and get myself out of the hole? It was stressful. Things were breaking. I had to come up with money. Luckily, I had savings. And then after those savings dwindled, I had family that helped because they're investors, they're entrepreneurs. They see that an investment is a long-term gain, long-term hold, just like a job, just like a project that's not going well at work. If you quit every time you had a hard time at work, then how many jobs would you have? And you're not going to have a benefit and you're not going to reap any of it, right? So what happened to me was a bad moment in the market, and it cost me more money than I had at the time, and I had to cut things out of my budget and reassess. And it was a very hard time for those first 3 months that I had to figure it out. And I did have support, and I did have mentors, and people did advise me. And I thought they were kind of crazy, and I thought, you don't even, like, I was depressed, to be honest with you. I'm like, do you even understand what I'm going through? Like, it was like as if I was laid off.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? And people... And I was working. It's just the amount of money that I was making was not the same. And my expenses were more than I had ever had in my life.
For sure.
Adulting, growing up, success, stress.
Yeah.
These are the reasons why people say they don't want to buy. And I felt like I was experiencing all of them. And I looked to the people that have more money than I do. And I said, what do I do? And they said, cut back here, look at it differently, call this person. If you have a credit card because you're human, go to no interest. If you have a HELOC. In other words, everybody was telling me to check all these checks and balances before I sold, which, by the way, if I would have sold, I would have made myself whole and I would have been stressless. And I would have been just fine. And I still would have had a life in Austin and I would have still done my things. And instead, I still have my life in Austin. I still do what I want and I still own all the real estate because not all the problems that people think happen all at once. And had I sold anything, it would have set me back. It would have. But that would have been okay because I still would have been surviving, right? Like, that's what it's for. Like, life is long.
It's a savings account.
I'm here to trade in. Most of the time in the life, it's going to work more to my benefit than not. And that is Monopoly, and that is the real estate game. It is. You guys, you have to be really, really, really dumb or get zero to no help or advice to fuck this up.
Yeah, in a 10-year period, 100%. I just don't even see how anybody could. We actually were joking about this today. I was like, there's really not a scenario I can think of where a home's going to be worth less 10 years later. And I was like, well, maybe there is one. Maybe if it got struck by lightning and it got burned to the ground. But then you were saying, if that happened in East Austin, it would be irrelevant because the land would still be worth more than what.
Correct. So if I own a home and you're thinking, oh no, how could this ever go down in price? I mean, things do go down in price. I mean, it does happen in America. We don't want to lie to you and tell you that it doesn't. In fact, in my going on 18 years in this business, I was telling you that in the time that I was struggling, had I had to sell something, it would have been almost even. Kind of like my first purchase, that condo, right? And then you were telling me that for the first time in your career, you had to have a client sell.
Not yet.
You haven't?
No,
okay.
Not yet. So I'm trying to prevent it because I'm like I'm batting 100% right now.
Right.
You know, out of 1,000, over 1,000 times we've helped people buy and sell homes. Literally this year will be the first client. If they were to sell their home right now, they would have to come to the table with money.
Right.
And that's only one out of my entire 24-year career.
Yeah. And just out of curiosity, that one, how many homes have they owned and purchased and bought?
Their first. This is their very first home. That's why it's really hardest for me, because it's hard because I love these two ladies and I know how hard they worked, and they just got caught in bad timing. This is bad timing, and they need to leave.
Yep.
You know, but even now, this is more math, because I like math. More math is that I'm trying to educate them on holding on to it, even though the difference between their mortgage and their rent is probably going to be like $600 or $700.
Right.
So, but I told them it's more affordable. It's a smaller pill to swallow. $700 a month for, let's call it 20 months. That would be $14,000 than it is to swallow a $40,000 pill right now.
Right.
And so I think they'll come around to that. But they got, either way, they've got to go, right? And so there's the choice is going to be swallow the $40,000 pill or swallow the 20 months the $14,000 pill. And in 10 years, no matter what, from the 10 years from the time they first bought that home, it's going to be worth 50 to 80% more.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you are a young married couple and you have been renting and one of you loses their job, and then you find out you're pregnant, and you are fortunate enough to have family that you can call, well, then you are fortunate enough to take the risk to put something down or put nothing down. There's different programs. There's an array of programs from 0% to 30%, where you know you're going to be paying a monthly, and should the day come that you lose your job at the same time that you're getting pregnant and you need a place to go, instead of going to your parents, then you ask them for a little help. Because if you can just figure it out for 3 to 5 months, then the equity that you have is going to catapult you to the next thing. Like, owning real estate is a safety net, even at the worst of the days. Like,
even though it's so fearful for most people. Like, people fear all the unknowns, you know, but anything can happen anywhere. Like you said, you can get a car, we can get in a car wreck on the way home now.
Right. You guys, I have owned my Hyde Park house for now 10 years this year. Like I said, I lived in it for 5 of the 10 years. And
can we prove my math? So what did you pay for it 10 years ago, and how much is it worth now?
I paid $420 for it. I put 15% down.
Yep.
And now it's worth at least $6. Okay, let's just say down market, conservatively, $625. But one sold recently for $650.
20 minus $625. And how much did you put down?
15% of $420.
Okay, so $420.
Not to mention the cash
out, the money
I pulled from it, the other property I've bought, leveraging that home.
63,000 into 2. So let me just tell you what your return on your investment is right there on that property. That's a 217% return in the down market, in one of the worst markets we've had since 2008.
Right. And
217% return.
And coming in 2025, when the market picks up and the world decides that house is now worth $675, I'm going to leverage that equity and pull money out of that house, and it's not going to cost me anything, and I may or may not buy my next home or my next investment with it. Or if I'm not responsible, I'll go to Thailand. Just kidding. I'm going to buy investments. However, I've owned that house for 10 years, and in that 10 years, in the 5 years that I lived in the house, it was paradise. Yeah. It was just like paying rent. It didn't cost me anything. I needed a place to live. It was a great location. I had walkability. It was wonderful. In the following years, when I started renting it, oh my God, it's so hard to rent a house. Yeah. I rented it for a year, and then the freeze happened. And it's a 1940s bungalow. Yeah. I mean, you know, the AC broke. The water heater broke. I mean, it must have cost me, I remodeled it and painted it. I Airbnb'd it and bought furniture. It cost me $40,000 to fix all of that. Guess what? The equity in it today is 200 and something. Right. I've already cashed out refi to buy 2 properties with that house. Like,
and how much those homes have made you? How much those properties have made you?
And I didn't spend that $30,000 all in 1 year. Right. Like, it wasn't an expense that killed me all at once. So not everything happens all at once. I mean, I guess things happen all at once. Like, you can lose your job. I mean, that happens.
It happened to me for the last 2.5 months.
Right, but I mean, So anyways, I'm just telling you that like the reasons why people don't buy homes is a personal risk factor. If you just get yourself educated, if you just have the right information, and by the way, things don't happen overnight.
Right.
Like I say this all the time. I was in real estate for 5 years. I finally realized, I didn't even think about myself. I thought it would be better for my clients if I knew the process of having bought a house. That was my first thought. So then I called my friend Sergio, who's a lender, and I said, hey, what's it going to take for me to buy a house? What do I need to do? And he's like, let me look at your credit. Let me look at your history. Let me look at all your stuff. And he's like, it's going to take you 2 years. Like, go and do A, Y, and C, and in 2 years, come back. Guess what? It took me a year because then I knew the steps and I was focused and I did it and I bought a house a year later. So it's just a matter of having that knowledge. It's just a matter of having the example. Like I always use the example, like how many people did it take to run the first marathon? It took once. Once that person did it and other people had the example, other people did that.
You know he died though. You know that, right? He died. The first person who ran it died. So I don't know if people were that excited about doing it right away, but they figured out, hey, I'm going to do it without dying. I think that was the accomplishment.
Yeah. Well, don't worry. You can invest without dying.
Absolutely.
But you know what? Investing gives you mortality forever.
Right.
Why? Because then you have a trust that you keep on
You're
living.
building
It keeps on
generational
giving.
wealth.
That's right. That's what we're here for. We're here to teach you about generational wealth, the
and
good,
not to fear it.
the bad, the ugly.
Mm-hmm. You shouldn't fear investing because you and I can walk people through the process, right? We've been there. We've done that. It's if you have the right person guiding you along the path that we're trying to help you be on, the riches at the end, the reward at the end is going to be generational wealth for you and your family so that y'all can have choices.
Right. And we're not attacking you guys for having fears.
Yeah.
We know people who have been selling real estate for longer than we have, better than we have, more volume than we have. And can you imagine being in this business and selling real estate to the richest in Austin? And then what? I mean, God, he could being in the business like we were. We were in the business 10, 12 years before we bought our first investment. But
he was the number one. So
he was the number one.
I love the story.
So I say this in the episode of having fear and having these roadblocks when it's not really about fear. Like investment in real estate is one of the most surest things to build wealth. We're not just saying that is proven.
Yep.
And it's okay to be fearful of it. It's okay to not have done it because you were afraid of it. And I say that because I refer to an example that we have, which is a very, very affluent realtor here in Austin helping the richest of the richest for eons, years and years, top agent. And we are friends because we're both Austinite and we've both been living here forever. And in having coffee, he was asking me why I had changed companies. And I was telling him because, I was at the big company where I was buying and selling and helping people, and it was very fun, but I was trying to figure out how to build my retirement. And then I told him that, meeting the 12 Rivers people and how passionate they are and how easy they make it look with the investment and the development, that lo and behold, in the short time that I had been here, I had bought 3 doors. And he looked at me with so much shock, and then I looked at him with so much shock because I'm sitting here going like, tell me about luxury, tell me how you do it. And he's like, put that aside, tell me about building wealth and tell me about investing. And when I told you this story, I thought, it's been so long, I don't want to be making shit up. So we went and looked at records, and it turns out that after that conversation, this person now owns another piece of property besides his home.
Correct.
So he went and invested.
Yeah, in the same neighborhood that I own an investment property
That's
in,
right.
by the way.
That's right. And it was funny because he was asking me where, which I ask you all the time, and I want to be like, we're in real estate, we should know it, But you don't know what you don't know. And those fears are real, and they're real for the richest of the richest of the white privileged people, like I'm telling you, there's men out there who are privileged, who have been raised with money, and have no education on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm
sure.
building that wealth. And and then you have like the simplest of youngest of naive and curious people who don't know any better. Like the woman that you knew, your nephew, you have another story that we're going to share as well.
So my nephew just graduated college. He's actually going back. He's working on CPA, which I think he's going to accomplish his CPA in like 5 years. So that's pretty good. Good job, Kyler. But the moral of the story is that he's heard me talk about investing in real estate since he could walk. And now he only has an offer letter from a company for an internship. And Monica, one of the amazing lenders I work with, is able to get him approved for like a $275,000 home, which is a very nice home in San Angelo, Texas, by the way. And he's already calculated it out. I probably should be saying this because the person he's renting to is going to be like, oh, why are you doing that? But the reality is he's already has somebody that's going to be able to pay $1,000 of his $1,500 mortgage payment in a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, brand new with the 2-car garage and solar. He has enough money to put 20% down because he's been working at Walmart, going through college this whole entire time, saving money. But I told him, Kyle, you're not going to do that. You're going to move in there with as little as possible because now you can buy 2 homes. Why buy just one when you can buy 2? He's like, oh yeah. As a matter of fact, Kyler will be the CFO of the Barra Generational Wealth Monopoly Empire. So it's going to be a family business, but he's graduating college. He's already buying his first home. It's not going to cost him very much at all to put down, and he understands it. He gets it because it's been ingrained in his brain for so long. And he's a math guy, and it's always math. And Aaron hates when I say it's just math. It's just math. There's the data shows. There's my data points. You want to see my spreadsheets. You want to see all the stuff I do. I just put it on here, and it's math. It works every time.
No, you're right. And I mean, he can't start any younger.
Yeah. He doesn't even have a job. He's just a letter for an internship.
He doesn't even have a job. He's got a letter for an internship. Repeat that, because for the people who feel like I can't do this, I don't have the money. Like, you can.
I asked Monica, by the way, I didn't cut you off, but I asked Monica, does he have to start the job? Does he have to be like 2 weeks, a month? How long does he have to be there? She's like, no, he has a letter from his employer saying he's going to start there. And I was like, this is ludicrous. I was like, they didn't make it that easy for me, but the reality is they know he's going to be a CPA. He has an internship letter. He doesn't have to start the job. He could go buy the home right now, and if he doesn't start the job, he still owns a home.
Right. So that is his nephew coming out of college with an internship, buying a house with very little down. Yeah. So I say that because I also want to say that we're talking about all the fears and all the hard things, right? And I just said earlier, in case I spoke too quickly, that I'm going on 18 years in the business. My career has been in an upward trajectory until the last 2 years. Fine, I made a lot of money the years before. I've adjusted. I have figured it out. And I say all that to say that, like, in my 18-year career and then in my hard 2 years, I'm going to leverage what I have and that 10-year home that I've already cashed out refi'd 1,000,000 times and I've made money on it and that has cost me money. I'm going to leverage that in 2025 with that loan that we're talking about to, again, sit pretty for a while, or put my money where my mouth is like I always do and buy something else. Talk about it here, and for more information, continue to follow us, because I say that because your nephew did it with nothing. I'm doing it with what I've got. It's not millions. It's just not. Yeah. And like, even if I wanted to make millions, like, this just wasn't the year for me to make millions in this market. Yep. But I'm still not surviving. I'm thriving. Right. Because I'm leveraging what I have, so it doesn't.
You own millions.
It doesn't matter what my income is. Right. I have income in my rental income right now, whether it's covering the mortgage or not. The lender's just seeing it as income, so it's like not quite smoking mirrors, but depending on the day and the 10-year period of holding real estate, you're going to make it work for you, real money or not real money. This is how the wealthy do it. Yeah. So,
or not, because we have the top realtor in Austin who's been making $1 million at least a year for many, many years, and he literally just bought his first investment property. Because, it's just clicking.
Yeah. So we're hoping it's clicking for you today, tomorrow, or the day after that. It's never too late to start investing in real estate and in your future. especially the way the world is.
Yeah. And we're here to answer any questions. We're here to answer any questions you guys have. We want to answer them all. There's no smoke and mirrors. There's no tricks. It's data. It's here, and we want to answer as many questions that you have to ask, and however long it's going to take, because we know it's that important for us to convey this message to everyone that the faster you do it, the faster you're going to have choices for you and your family.
Yep. And don't be shy. If you have somebody that you're working with who's in real estate who hasn't given you this information, but you want to get it from us so that you can go to them and buy something, do it.
By the way,
do it.
Absolutely. Hey, and by the way, because my old home is for sale, I'm trying to talk Aaron into figuring out how we can buy that home. But we were across the street at my friend's house, and they came to me, and I started giving them advice. I said, hey, y'all just have your realtor call me. I was like, it's so important to me. I don't care about the money. By the way, I've never cared about the money, period. It's so important to me that I want your realtor to call me so I can explain everything to them so that they can take this and give that to you so you can hear it from them.
Right.
Because I don't care about the money. I care about helping people. And I love the people who bought our old home. They're so awesome, and they just don't know. Their realtor just doesn't know.
Right. And the thing is that like we are problem solvers, and so we want to help solve the puzzle of all the things that are going to be obstacles to you. We will help resolve that to get you to the finish line, whether it's in 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5. We don't care. The best time to buy is now.
Right.
When can you get into real estate? The quickest you can. For some people, I was told 2 years. It ended up being 1 year. I mean, it is what it is. Land's not going anywhere. It's only getting more expensive. Talk to you.
But Elon Musk is buying whole cities. Like Elon Musk is buying cities. That's how valuable he thinks it is.
I mean, he's buying cities in Mars. If you guys have any more questions, you can always find us here, there, click, follow, rewind, hear it again. We speak too fast. Direct message us. We can tell you more. Thank you. I'm Salma with 12 Rivers.
Sonny Barra with the Barra team at Keller Williams.